All right. So today we're going to be looking at all the versions of Mortal Kombat 1 that we know so far that have been listed on the official websites, both the PlayStation blog and I believe also the Atari website for the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. And we're going to start off with the big one. This is the one that everyone wished they had at home back in the day. But unfortunately, we could only go with either 8-bit or 16-bit versions of it. And that is, of course, the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 1. Now, what I'm going to be doing with every single one of these games is I'm going to play maybe, I don't know, a few minutes of each so you guys can hear the sound, see the visuals, all that sort of cool stuff. And then we'll talk a little bit about it, you know, what versions they might use, access to certain cheats. And we're going to do that for every version of MK1 that's going to be available in this collection. Let's go.
Get over here! Come here! Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Fight! Get over here! Finish him! Scorpion win. Flawless victory. Fatality. Fight. Come here. Excellent. Get over here. Excellent. Scorpion wins. Flawless victory. Fight. Come here! Finish him! Scorpion wins. Fatality. Fight! Scorpion wins. Fight! Finish him! Scorpion wins. Fatality. Test your might. Fight. Come here! Get over here! Scorpion wins. Fight! Come here! Excellent! Finish him! Excellent, Scorpion!
Okay, so let's talk about this particular version because this is pretty cool. This is the actual arcade version. Okay. And I just want to make sure. Yep, there we go. Right, cool. Okay, so this is this is revision 5.0 T unit. This is dated the 19th of the 3rd in 1993, which is pretty awesome, right? So that's pretty cool. So as far as like things like cheats go, what could they actually have in regards to that, right? Let's have a look and see, all right? So this is obviously running through an emulator that's running the arcade version of it, all right? Now, if we go to cheat, here, there's a whole bunch of cheats that are available that you can access when you play this particular one. One of them is actually legit one, like one that's actually part of the arcade menu, is this one here. Easily activate the hidden EJB menu, as in the Edward John, I believe it is, Boone menu. You turn it on, right, and through the attract mode, you press the block button and you can access all of this extra stuff. You can enter your initials, you can see character endings as well, which is pretty cool. Right, so you don't even have to do anything. Like, you just access this stuff like straight in here, which is pretty cool. So let's reset that. So apart from obviously all the different types of cheats as well, obviously I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming they'll give you access to the dip switches, maybe, so you can modify volume. You know, I'm assuming they're going to just make it free to play. Like, they're not going to worry about us actually putting in coins, any of that sort of stuff. But some of these cheats are kind of funky. This one here, Bloody Floors, check this out. This is pretty cool. Check this out. See if it'll work. Is it not going to work? Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe not on this one. It does. I've seen it work on MK2. All right. So what the Bloody Floor does is it cakes like blood. I think stays there and bubbles and all sorts of like really crazy stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so they'll have that. Obviously, they'll have different types of like image things that you can do as well. So I don't think that's going to work. We get a night mode on or off. So there's a lot of these ones in here that may just not, you know, may not make it into the cheat, because they did state on the blog that you will actually have access to all the cheat type stuff, right? What that means, like, I don't know. All I do know, but like to a certain degree, but I don't know what cheats are they going to have in there. You're going to have everything, like a whole bunch of this types of stuff. We're going to have things like infinite time, one-hit kills, one-button fatalities, all that sort of stuff. That's the interesting part that I want to know about, right? So that's the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 1, all right? And we're going to jump over now to the Super Nintendo version. All right, so we're going to check that one out. Let me just set this one up just quickly, because we're doing this all in real time. It's going to be all in the one video. So that way you guys can actually see all of this side by side, getting to hear the games and things like that, which is I think it's very important. I think that's very, very, very important, you know, for this particular video. All right. So, all right. So let's jump on over. Hang on, we'll make sure that we got it all set up. Got the. What was that? What was that? I don't know what that was. Do you guys know what that was? I'll show you what that was. Here we go. I'll just. Can I redo it? There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. So, check this out. Super Nintendo version. Same principle, few moments of gameplay, so you can hear it and see it. Let's check it out.
Excellent. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Johnny Cage wins. Fight! Excellent. Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Excellent. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Kano wins. Fight! Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Fighting the money! Excellent. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Fighting the money! Fighting the money! Fighting the money! Excellent. Sub-Zero wins. Test room white. Sub-Zero wins. Fight! Liu Kang wins. Fight! Finish him! Liu Kang wins.
Now, my experience with MK1 on the Super Nintendo is very limited. All right, very limited, and it's very limited because by the time I owned a Super Nintendo, I kind of gotten past that. Like, I'd already invested too much time, or so much time in the what do you call it? In the Mega Drive versions of the game. Now, I think there are secrets in this version, but in case you're wondering, right? Weapons disabled. That must be the special moves, I'm assuming. So obviously, the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat 1, while sounds good and looks good to a degree, the gameplay feels very stiff, feels very janky. And it's also not arcade accurate in the sense of there's no blood, right? So you saw Sub-Zero's fatality. He freezes them, jumps back, freezes them, walks forward, smashes them. There's no blood in this game. There's no cheat code to enable blood whatsoever in Mortal Kombat 1 on the Super Nintendo. This is exactly how you get it, right? This is exactly like how you get it. I'm assuming, though, as far as like things like cheats go, they'll put things like, probably one-button fatalities, instant kills, just stuff like that for people that might want to just walk through the game, right? Or maybe have infinite health, that want to walk through the game because they have struggled playing against, things like the AI. Because the AI is extremely unforgiving. It was made to steal your money. That's basically the reason for it, right? It was made to steal your money. There's also some absolute horrific bugs, like and the way that the game handles in terms of its AI as well. It's awful. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know how this ever got past, in comparison to, say, the Mega Drive version of it. But suffice to say, this was not the greatest. So we're gonna now load up the Mega Drive version of this, because the Mega Drive version was the one that I played the most of, outside of the Sega Master System / Game Gear version of it. So let's load this up, and you'll be able to see. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the superior version. This is the superior version for Mortal Kombat. So let's load this up, get it all set up so you guys can see it. Just make sure we pause that. There we go. And this is my favorite. This is my favorite home port. Like, this is absolutely my favorite home port. And we'll do the same thing again. We're gonna run it. I'll get up to the pit. That seems to be a good marker. You guys get to see the stages, hear the music, all that sort of jazz, and whatnot. And yeah, we'll take it from there. All right, let's do this one.
over here. Fight! Fight! Excellent. Finish him. Fight! Fight! Excellent. Finish him. Fight! 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 Fight!
And there we have nice big chunk of gameplay of the Mega Drive / Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 1. Now, I'm going to show you quickly. So there are obviously going to be cheats available in this. All right. One of the being famous, or the two of the famous ones, obviously, is ABAC which enables the blood code, which is here. And then the other one is dollar, down, up, left, A, right, down, which you do on the menu screen here. And you go into cheats enabled, and now this is the interesting thing I want to know. Will they make that when you highlight these flags or whatever, will these flags tell you exactly what they do? Because it doesn't tell you. Right? Like, you got to get online and you know, find out. And of course, if you miss putting in the blood code, you can come in here and actually turn the blood code on in this secret menu. You can change the plan base. See how you've got the Johnny Cages coming down? We can change to add in on Kano one side, right? Maybe Raiden, and then we can change it to Scorpion on the other side. You know, just silly things like this. Plan-based, random, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a whole bunch you can choose from. You can start off on which, like, first chop, you know, you want to do, right? So test your might. Demo game, biography 2, battle plan, chop, all of these ones in here. So this is the sort of stuff I'm hoping that if it's in, they're going to explain this stuff so that way it's a lot easier for people to understand. The other thing too, obviously, is that it's missing some sound files. It doesn't mention the name when you choose your character. It only says fight. There's no round 1, round 2, etc. The sprites are smaller. Sub-Zero and Scorpion share the same battle stance as well. Because of, you know, obviously those limitations and that. But, and thanks to, shout out to Total MK, what was his name? Matt Furness was the one that created the soundtrack specifically for, I think it did MK2 as well, but for MK1 on the Mega Drive / Genesis. That's why it's so unique. I actually love this soundtrack. This is actually, it probably trumps the soundtrack over the actual arcade for me. That's how much I love it. Like, it's, like, really cool. Whoop. There we go. So, the one thing why I always prop this one up over the Super Nintendo version is because it has arcade-accurate AI. Right? So, whatever you do here, you can go to the arcade, and you can actually do it there. Which is, like, really, really cool. Alright, so let's round this out, because we actually are going now into the tail end. We've got both the Game Boy and the Game Gear versions left. We're going to load up the actually going to load up the Game Boy sorry, the Game Gear / Sega Master System version first. So let's load this up. Now I just want to see, because it might put kind of like a background for it. Perhaps we'll see what it does. But let's jump on over and have a look-see. All right, here we go. This is the Game Gear version of Mortal Kombat 1. Exactly like the Sega Master System version. So that's fine, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right, so let's go. Now, the Sega Master System version, I think, laid things out a bit better, to be perfectly honest. Right? Now, there is a blood code, but for some reason, it's not working. But this game does have blood. Not to the same capacity, but yeah, it does actually have blood. Right? Oh, there's my kick there. Excellent. Cool. Alright, let's reset that. Now that I know where my keys are, let's reset it and just listen to this. So in this version, there's only 2 stages available and only 6 characters. Okay, so we are actually missing out on one of the characters, which is unfortunate. But it's because of obviously memory limitations and stuff like that that they couldn't actually do it, and therefore this is this is what we have. I'm sure somebody's probably modded a version out there as well. But yeah, you put in the blood code 212 down up, and there we go. It's my because I'm using anyway, I'm using a different MU like to showcase this one. So the only character that we're missing obviously is Kano, but we do get everyone else in there as well, which is fine. Okay, but yeah, it is definitely a cut down version. It's definitely a cut down version of it. There we go. It's also a little difficult to do special moves. You have to be really slow. Like, really slow. Like, do the quarter circle, wait like half a second, then press the button. It doesn't like it when you put in, like, do inputs really fast. Also, with the Game Gear version, it's actually got it on, the start button. The actual start button is the block button. Okay, but on the Master System version, what they did is they actually made it so that you actually hold down the punch button and you press back and you go into a block stance. So it's slightly different there in regards to doing that. So let's see if we can do the fatality. No, can't do it. Otherwise, I don't mind the soundtrack. I don't mind the soundtrack. I think it's kind of cool. It's not too bad. All right, so lastly, we do have the Game Boy version. All right, so we've gone through all of this, and now we're to the final turn. We're looking at the actual Game Boy version now of this, which is pretty groovy. I never owned a Game Boy. I knew friends of mine that did own a Game Boy, but this was kind of bad. This is definitely like kind of bad in terms of like ports going, but that's fine. Like, like it is what it is, right? But it's always good. I like having all of this stuff together in a collection because it means that anyone that used to play this stuff has access to these things yet again, which is really awesome. So let's check it out. That is painful. That is like probably the most pain I've ever played in a Mortal Kombat game. I just want to see, because I think it's only 2 stages, right? And it's a similar soundtrack, obviously, to the Sega Master System Game Gear version as well. Okay, so we got 3 stages. So they actually put more stages in for the Game Boy version. But the control is woeful. Like I was struggling. I'm struggling trying to do like a special mode, trying to do his harpoon. Like it's just terrible. Like there's such a big delay on doing like the moves and stuff like that. It's pretty bad. But it'd be curious to know if Digital Eclipse will actually kind of like tighten things up a bit. You know what I mean? Like if there'll be any of that sort of shenanigans. That'd be cool. Well, he can do a special move. Back. Oh, there we go. There's his harpoon. I finally did it. The time ran out. So anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. For the full coverage of Mortal Kombat 1, in a lot more sort of detail and depth, obviously, if there's any sort of associated secrets or cheats that are going to be made available for these particular versions of the game, I have no doubt that they're going to make it. They did mention it's going to be essentially like one button access to all of this sort of stuff, which if you've played their other collections, it's actually like that. You literally press one button and you can access a whole bunch of stuff. We also see it with the Capcom fighting collections as well. But yeah, so this is pretty good. So this is the next, obviously the next coverage you're going to be doing will be with Mortal Kombat 2. And that's covering both the arcade, the SNES, Genesis, Game Boy, and the 32X. And then of course we'll move on to MK3 and so on and so forth. So the ones that are actually getting the most ports is actually MK1 and MK2. And that is still even missing some of the titles in there as well. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.